That's called destruction of property, and there's some jail time involved in that.
I don't know. Maybe he deserved it. Here's what's coming up on today's episode of the Texas Wedding Show. DJ Elliot.
I ruined somebody's wedding. I became a DJ at Walt Disney World. Shortly after doing that, I started my own DJ business here in Florida, which has grown. And
I really hope they don't ever watch this. I opened it up and I smeared it around and I made a shape. I won't say what shape, but I made a shape.
Was it a heart?
No.
Don't ever.
Wait, what?
It's okay for some traditions to die.
So yesterday.
United States, Panama, Mexico, and it could be
Into the side of his pretty little souped up.
We're both awesome.
Play the sentimental music. Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Texas Wedding Show podcast. I'm Brittany, and we are here today with Elliot Hansen, aka DJ Elliot.
I know, my really surprising DJ name, which just happens to be my first name.
It's very original.
Exactly. I definitely called myself DJ Elliot way before it was passé to call yourself DJ anybody, so it was a long time ago. Been doing this a long time.
You're OG.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, before I forget, we're Ladybird Studios. And obviously we're not in our normal location. We are here in Orlando, Florida, in Elliot's home. That's why all these cool things are behind us. We're a little Disney themed today.
Tchotchkes, yes.
Tchotchkes. We're Disney themed today. We're 5 minutes from Magic Kingdom, and Elliot was kind enough to let us come in his home and talk, and yeah.
Well, they're world class at what they do, so I was able to find them some work here in Florida, which I'm so glad that you guys could make it. So thanks for coming.
You just really twisted my arm and got me to come. So tell everyone a little bit about how you got into DJing.
All right,
so your story.
I got started actually in Austin, Texas. I worked for a company called Penguin Entertainment. I think they might still be around. I started in 1994. So I was just
3 years after I was born.
Awesome. I had just graduated high school and was looking for a job, and I met this guy Josh, and he took me under his wing, and he trained me how to DJ weddings at the time, and it was a great experience. And then I had an opportunity to come to Florida on the Disney College program, and I came and I stayed, and I became a DJ at Walt Disney World. And that's how we met. Mm-hmm. And then shortly after doing that, I started my own DJ business here in Florida, which has grown. And now we've got multiple companies, and the company that brought y'all in does conventions and video shoots. So here we are, come a long way. So I don't want to think about how long, but yes, it's 1994.
Heck yeah, that's so cool. It just started downpouring.
I mean, it's Florida.
That's Orlando. It's like sunny like 2 seconds ago, and now it's downpouring. In case you can hear the rain, probably not. Wow, yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, Elliot and I go way back. We've known each other for at least 13 years now, because that's how long I worked for Disney.
Okay.
And he taught me how to DJ. Thank you. See, they liked it. And the children say, there we go. Yes. Woo! Go. Do you have any advice for anyone that's wanting to get into the industry, wanting to DJ, starting out?
So the best industry is there's so much information on the internet here today. Even when I meet people, they have a kind of basic idea of what you're doing. The thing that is really hard to be good at or learn how to be good at, and you know this, is the ability to talk on a microphone. A lot of people get on a microphone and they turn on that DJ voice and they're like, hey there, boys and girls, welcome out to this place. And the best advice I can give people for talking on a microphone is just be you.
Yeah.
If you're a fun person, if you're happy, just be yourself, because people can always smell a fake. And then when it comes to music, you need to have a knowledge of all genres. You got to be able to go all over the place. And then the death of the DJ career is when you stop listening to what's popular or what's new. And I remember distinctly one of the gentlemen that I worked with when I started. I remember when he stopped listening to the radio. And then that was pretty much when he was done DJing. Like, he did a couple shows after that. And I legitimately remember playing the song All Star by Smash Mouth. And he was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "How do you not know this song? This is the greatest song right now." And so I've been really careful not to turn into that person. But I will say that as I get older, it's harder and harder to keep up with the newer music, because it's just not anything that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But I know it's important to make sure that that everyone's covered. That's the most important job when DJing right now. Software can do a lot of the work for you. Spotify playlists are out there. It's a lot easier to find music. The hardest part is programming. And what programming is making sure that you're playing the right music at the right time. Like, you're not going to go to a wedding and the very first song that you play is going to be the YMCA to open up the dance floor, or the Cha-Cha Slide is the first song. You're going to want to wait. You're going to want to put those, once you start to fill the dance floor. Usually at a wedding, what I'm going to do is we're going to do what I like to do is I like to do the couple's very first dance at the beginning. Like, as soon as they enter the room, bring them in, have that first dance, have that moment together, and then send them to be seated. Have the best man and the maid of honor come up, give their toast, have the priest do the blessing, and then y'all eat. And then after dinner, one of my little top secret sneaky sneaks that y'all can take from me is, my favorite is after dinner is when you get the father of the bride to give his toast. And then at the end of that toast, you have him to ask his daughter to come dance with him, because you've created a moment. My whole point as a DJ at the wedding is I'm supposed to help you tell your story of your day. And as we learned from being at Disney as long as we did, stories have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there has to be a chapter. And so, we did the grand introductions, we did that first dance, we did the toast, and then we turned to the next chapter, which is dinner. So now we're all eating dinner. So how do we turn to that next chapter? Well, Dad's going to come give this speech and ask you to dance. Next chapter. Groom's going to ask his mom to come dance. Next chapter. Now we're going to invite everybody to the dance floor, and we're going to start slow, because it's a lot easier to bring all these couples out and to say, "Hey, if the last time you slow danced was at your wedding, time to bring your partner to the dance floor. Again, next chapter. Now we're going to pick up the pace." And then you just keep looking at it as everything that's happening is the next chapter in your story. So let's make a big deal about it. First, the beginning of chapters are usually, "Hey, here's what's happening, here's what's going on," story.
Right.
And so that's why, same thing, we make a big deal about the ending, because y'all have been to weddings. They start off and they're amazing, and then at the end they just kind of like
Sometimes,
fizzle out sometimes. So look at it that way. Look at it, how are these people that are working with me today going to help me tell this story today? So
I knew that's how you structured weddings. I knew, just from working with you, exactly. Like, you were saying it and I was like, I know what's next. But I don't think I've ever heard you phrase it that way, which I love, of helping them to tell their story.
yeah.
That's really cool. And I totally see it as like separating the father-daughter first dance from the other
Correct.
first dances, because that is putting it by itself and creating its own moment,
And
which
it's
makes
the
it
same,
so
and
special.
it's that same thing too. Like, everyone wants to shove Dad in with all these other toasts, but he's more important. Whether
Yeah.
it's your dad or your mom or whoever is going to be that person, they're more important than the best man and maid of honor.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay that we put them together. And the truth is, we want them to do the speeches at the beginning of the night, because the odds are they're going to be the ones that are drinking.
Yeah.
And you don't want them after dinner when they're 6 drinks in. You want them when they're 1 or 2 drinks in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some really awkward toasts in my life. Best advice for toast to everybody out there: don't do anything topical.
Ooh.
Anything that's cool right now is going to be cringy a year from now. The one I will never forget, I don't even remember what it was. And that's the problem. Like, I remember it happening, but I don't remember the pop culture reason why they did it. This woman gave her speech to an empty chair. And it was some sort of meme or something from like 10 years ago, and it was politically, and it was so weird. And we watched the video the other day, and I was like, this makes no sense now.
Yeah.
It maybe made sense then, but it doesn't there. The best is keep it short and sweet. Talk about a personal experience that you had with the bride, a personal experience you had with the groom, if they're your brother or your sister. It's not the time to be funny. It's not it's the time to be endearing and to share. Again, try to help tell that story. You know, if you have a really great story about the bride and groom and them dating and them being together, that's when you share that. You know, getting the laughs is not important. You know, being, you know.
You're not Dave Chappelle.
No one's ever going to be Dave Chappelle. So.
That's great advice. Yeah. Well, and that's why when you're talking about telling the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end, you know, our motto at Lady Bird Studios is your story matters. We love telling people's stories. And of course, your wedding day is one of, if not the biggest day of your life. It's a big story to tell. And there are also all those smaller stories within it and those smaller chapters. So that's a really unique and beautiful way of putting it.
Correct.
That's why you're the best.
I love your mission statement. Do you remember ours from our company?
Don't tell me. Wait, give me a second. From Elite Beats?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yes. Hold on. It's about like.
It's not about.
It's not about me. Yeah.
Yep. It's not about me. Yeah, correct. And that's really important that you find people at your wedding that realize it's not about them. Nobody's coming to the wedding to see me, the DJ.
Yeah.
And I've watched so many DJs in their lifetime try to be the focus of attention and try to be the, like, look, you're there to help guide people through this process. You know, there's a real, we talked about it a little bit at lunch. DJs have a real kind of self-importance about them sometimes where they think they make or break the event, and it really isn't. The building blocks are really quite simple. Like for bride and grooms that are out there, if you're wondering how to get that packed dance floor that you see in all those dance videos, one, you got to realize all those videos are edited. So there's a lot of time when there's just nobody on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And number two, if you want the dance floor filled, it's super easy. You have to be there. These people that come to your wedding are going to go wherever you are. If you're at the bar, they're going to be at the bar with you. If you're walking around and talking to tables, they're going to sit and wait at their table to talk to you. If you're on the dance floor, they're on the dance floor. If you're in the bathroom, they're in the bathroom. If you're outside, they're outside. They're going to follow you wherever you go. All they want to do is spend quality time with you.
Yeah.
There's a real sweet spot with weddings. You know, you don't want an 8-hour wedding. People aren't going to stay 8 hours. You get about 6. 5 to 6 hours is about the average of what people are going to stick with you. And if you're going late into the night, right around 9, 10 o'clock, they're thinking of leaving. So that sweet spot is that 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour. You know, because it's right after lunch, you know, so they're not really hungry. By the time they are hungry, you started at 3, so you've got an hour-ish for ceremony, which it's not going to take unless you're Catholic. You've got a 4 to 5 photo hour or video hour, which is great. And then you got dinner at 5. So it's not messing with their eating schedule. They're not sitting there during cocktail hour thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, I'm starving. And then you've got 5 to 9, which you got about an hour, hour and a half to eat. Just depends on if it's plated or if it's buffet. That's going to affect your timing. But that's more than enough time to get everything done that you're going to need to do. And weddings have changed. I mean, you know, when I did weddings, we did dollar dances and shoe games.
I still see the dollar dances.
And the dollar dances are tacky. Don't do them. These people have already paid all this money to be at your wedding. And at most, you guys are going to walk away with $75 to $100. Do you really need that much money to alienate all the guests at your party?
Hey, that's a gondola ride in Italy if you're going to.
But it's just not. You're gonna do fine. You're gonna get enough cards. Don't do that. It's tacky. But I like garter. I haven't seen a garter at a wedding in a really long time.
Can I just say, men, please stop diving under your bride's dresses for the garter toss. If we're gonna talk about tacky, that is tacky.
No, because here's
your mom and dad are watching this,
and grandma,
and your little cousins, and
no, and then DJs out there, don't ever make the person that catches the garter and the bouquet do anything together.
Oh.
That is so weird.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like-
haven't seen that.
Yeah, that used to be a thing. You'd be like, all right, who caught the garter? Come on over. And here comes, little Timmy, who's 8 years old.
Oh,
and then
no.
And then 30-year-old Aunt Edna, who caught the bouquet. And now, all right, we're going to put the garter on Aunt Edna. And hey, you can't use your hands. Let's just stop. It's okay for some traditions to die. Some of them just need to die.
I have not seen that tradition.
No, it's not. It's not good. But yeah, I mean, some games are cute. Like I like the shoe game. I've seen that a couple times. It's cute to put the bride and groom back to back, and who does this, who does that. But I mean, why? If all of your timing is flowing correctly, there's no real reason to have to put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to kill time, or a good DJ is already going to have broken the ice and whatever. I think my favorite is I do this thing for your supper.
I know exactly what I was just about to bring that up. I was going to say I love the thing I've seen you do. Go ahead.
And again, steal it, take it. If DJs are watching, it's my favorite. It's real simple. It's an awkward situation because as a DJ, you're walking into a situation where you've been talking to the bride and groom, a couple times before you get there, so you've formed a relationship if you've done it right. But you're walking into a room where nobody knows who you are. And let's be honest, right now, sitting at home, think of all the amazing wedding DJs that you've seen in your life. All right, let me make it easier. Think of all the bad wedding DJs you've seen in your life. Much easier to think about. It's a difficult situation because you're in a room full of strangers, and everybody else is a stranger too. They're all connected through one or two people, so it's already awkward, especially those tables when you're doing your seating charts. You're going to put your friends together, but those tables where you're like, all right, this is the table of the people that they definitely don't know each other.
Just the complete random people that we didn't know what to do with.
3 or 4 tables of people you just didn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
And if that's happening during your planning, that's normal because your bride, your mom has people that have to come to this wedding because they were around for some major thing in your life, and groom, your mom too has said these people have to be there, and they're people that you honestly don't ever remember meeting in your entire life.
Yeah.
But it's life or death if they're not there, and since mom and dad are typically picking up some of the check, you're like, well, I guess we gotta invite so-and-so.
Right.
And it's going to be even worse if you get married in a destination that people want to go to.
Oh.
That was the difficult thing for mine when I invited everybody to Orlando to come to my wedding.
Oh.
People were like, all right, Disney vacation. And so people RSVP'd that we were like,
actually came.
like we weren't expecting them to come. We expected them to say no. So
See, I thought that was the point of like a destination wedding which yours was home for you.
Correct.
But like for me, a destination wedding is like kind of an enticing idea because then it's like, you can invite these people, but they probably won't come because it's in Hawaii.
Correct. So
Anyways.
So you're there, you're trying to break the ice with the audience. You've brought the bride and groom in, they've done their first dance, and they're sitting down, we've done toasts, and now it's that awkward moment where we have our buffet and we have to figure out how to get all these tables to the buffet, because if we just let them all go, it's just going to be a huge long line. So how do we keep the line short? How do we keep the line moving? And how do we distract people so they realize they haven't been to the buffet yet? Mm-hmm. That's where Sing for Your Supper comes in. And it also gives you a chance to get to know everybody at your table. So you basically start out by saying, all right, hey, here's what we're going to do. Our bride and groom are our showmen, they just put on a show for you guys coming in here with their first dance and their first dance. Now it's time for you to return the favor and give them a show. So while they sit up there and eat, they're going to be our judges for this next competition. Now your job at the table is amongst yourselves, you all need to come up with a song with the word love in it. And then you're going to stand up and collectively as the table, you're going to perform that song for the bride and groom, and they're going to give you a yay or a nay whether or not your table gets to go to the buffet. Now, DJs, tip number 1, always start at the table with the family members at it, or dismiss the table with the family members at it. You're not going to make grandma wait to eat. You're not going to make mom and dad wait to eat. They get the same respect as the bridal party. So they're excused. If they want to sing a song, they can, but release them first. Always let those tables go first, most important. And then you just pick a table, and you're going to hear the Barney song. You're going to hear Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah.
You're going to hear all of those
What
same
is
songs.
love?
Correct.
Baby, don't hurt me.
You're going to hear all those. But it's just a way, as you're over there talking to the table, figuring out what song they're going to sing, that line at the buffet is moving. So that by the time the bride and groom get to vote whether or not that table gets to go and eat, that line is shorter. So you send them. And then you're like, all right, next table, where are we going? And in the time it takes you to walk to the table, find out what they're singing, introduce people at the table to the audience, have the little shtick between the bride and groom, again, that line is still moving. So it's just that way of helping, keep everybody entertained and not just sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, when do I get to eat? Instead, now they're thinking, oh man, pulling out their phones, let's look up the lyrics to this. Hey, what do you think about this song? Maybe we should sit. So you've gotten them all to talk amongst each other.
Yep.
And it's dumb and it's cheesy.
It's fun.
But it works.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, you're right. It sounds dumb and cheesy, but it's not. It's really fun.
No, it's endearing and fun, and it also gives you guys as videographers something to capture besides people just standing at the buffet.
And photography too.
Correct.
Get some fun photos from that.
No, and that's really it. Is we talked about it in the car ride from the airport. How being a DJ is really hard because I'm not providing you as a bride and groom with anything tangible. You're not going home with anything at the end of the experience. I do have the potential to affect the mood and the feeling of what's going on, but really if I'm doing things right and helping you tell the best story, y'all are the show. And if I can make you the show, that's what they're there to see. So that's really just the point. So find a good person, find someone that you can communicate well with. When you're giving them the lists of music, like, I love it when a bride and groom gives me every single song that they want to hear. Mm-hmm. But as a bride and groom, you can't be surprised when that's the only music I'm going to play. I'm going to go off whatever you give me. Mm-hmm. Your DJ should be playing what you want to hear. Look, that's going to be a hard list to put together, songs that you want to hear. You want to know what list is not hard to put together?
Songs you don't want to hear?
Songs you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Because those are the songs that your friends are going to come up and be like, oh my gosh, this is Brittany's favorite song. And it turns out it was maybe the first dance to, her brother's wedding or something, and she's pissed at her brother. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be anything like that. So just definitely put that list together. If you don't want the cha-cha slide or the Macarena or the chicken dance, write it down. I know you don't want it there. But if you write it down and somebody asks to it, I get to say to them, hey, man, like the bride and groom don't want to hear it. And if they really, really want to hear it, they're going to come ask you. But you can still say no. Like, it's your day.
Don't go ask your friend if they can ask the DJ to play the chicken dance.
It happens.
On their wedding day.
It's so annoying. Because normally they're just like, yeah, just play it. I'm like, look, I'm looking out for your best interest.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to happen. There's always 2 or 3 people that want to come up and tell you how to do your job. And you just roll with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't tell you how to do your job.
Well, I mean.
You tell me how to do the job. So.
I mean, it's.
Do you have any, I know you do, but do you have any crazy wedding stories that you can share?
I ruined somebody's wedding.
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely, and I knew I did it.
That's not what I was expecting.
No, and it's one of those that I like to just be honest. I was much younger. I was probably 19 or 20 at the time. And I had other stuff going on in my life and I just wasn't focused. And I showed up, and this was back in the day when you didn't have the internet, so you couldn't just go download a song. And I showed up to the wedding and I didn't have their first dance. So we were able to they had a live piano player that was able to come, and we figured out how to plug them in. But DJs, man, there's no recovery from that. Like, you can't ever get back ahead of you're already a loser no matter what happens from that point on. Like, there's no way to recover from that. I
wouldn't say you ruined their wedding.
No, but that was a huge.
But that's I see what you mean.
But that was a situation where they contacted my boss at the time, and they were like, "Look, we don't want to pay this guy," and rightfully so. Dang. And I admitted it. I said, "Hey, look, it's my fault. I made the mistake. Like, I get it, and that's just it. It's a ton of responsibility being there, but I have another." I always have a conversation with brides and grooms, and we talked about it. I said, we're going to have a secret symbol between you, the bride and groom, and me that nobody's going to know about, that's going to let me know I need to pay attention, turn a microphone off, keep something moving, just something that makes you feel like you're still in control. Because people do the dumbest things at weddings that you don't even know about. And so we have the secret signal. Now, I've done...
Give an example of like a secret signal.
Yeah, I've done... So I had my friend Thomas and his wife who got married, one of the very first weddings I did on my own when I moved to Florida. They've now been married 20 years, which is crazy to me. But I said, come up with a signal. And they're like, no, we're never going to need it. I'm like, no, just come up with it. And his wife was like, I'm going to fix his tie. I said, all right, cool. So we're there at dinner, and 85-year-old grandma gets up to give her toast. Oh. And she starts talking about love and loses her way in the speech. And it's just going on and on and on. And I look over, and she's fixing his tie and looking at me. And I go, okay, cool. So I wait for Grandma to take the breath. I fade the microphone out. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Grandma. She did a fantastic job. So nobody knew anything went wrong, but we were able to keep the night moving.
Wow. That's a really classy way to do it. The turning down of her mic instead of just like interrupting.
No, and I waited for her to take a breath.
Yeah,
I waited for her to be like, and like when it sounded like this was a good time to end, we'll stop. She clearly was still talking, but
yeah.
By me talking on the microphone, now people look at me, they don't look at her. And it was a nice, and everyone in the room knew Grandma was talking too long. But no one was going to say it. So we handled it in a professional way. And then the other one that happens is there's always someone at your wedding that wants to surprise you, that wants to do something that like, oh, this was her favorite thing in high school, or ooh, hey, we did this. And the irony is the moment isn't about the bride. It's the whole, it's not about me. You know, it's really about something that, they want to...
Oh, you're saying that the guest is like, look at me, look at this thing.
Yeah, I'm going to do this really fun thing for the bride because it's a thing that we used to do. It's not about the bride at that point.
Right.
It's about, hey, everybody pay attention to me.
Yeah.
So I always tell bride and grooms, like, hey, anytime anybody comes up to me and says, hey, we're going to do a thing, I'm going to come tell you. No secrets. There will never be a secret at a wedding. And the irony is, at my wedding, I told everybody, no secrets, no surprises, I want nothing. And my best friend Ruben hit me with a freaking surprise, and I'm still a little ticked at him.
Ruben!
It ended up being really cool.
What was it?
He had a bunch of the 501st Stormtroopers and R2D2. They all showed up. And the reaction of my wife's face on the video makes it worth it every time I watch it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, the rules, bro. No secrets. Like, this doesn't happen. And it happened. So.
But that's a really cool surprise. Come on.
Yeah, but I would have been a lot happier had I known it was happening.
Yeah.
It's not a day to surprise anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to come up to you as a bride and be like, hey, this is what they want to do. Do you want it to happen or do you want me to kill it? Because I can do either.
Right.
That's the thing. You need to find someone that you can work with both on your video, your photographer, your wedding planner. You want everybody on team you. You should be the number one concern. I don't care about anybody in the room but the bride. I'll make everybody mad. I don't care. I've had bridesmaids tell me to go F myself before. I'm not there for you.
Yeah.
You're not my important people are our bride and groom, it's our couple getting married. That's who's most important to me. I ain't worried about you.
Yeah.
So find somebody that thinks that way. If you could find them, you're going to have a great time. And this is my biased opinion, and this is not, they didn't ask me to say this, and I
feel like we're on the same wavelength because I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say.
Of anything to spend your money on your wedding day, the number one thing I spent the most money on myself, and I'm glad I did. I paid a lot of money for a videographer, and it's the one thing that we watch constantly. Like, it's my number one viewed thing on my computer, and the team that I worked with was absolutely fantastic. They did a short version, a little longer version. We have a 3-minute version and a 5-minute version, and then they also gave me all the footage not edited of my ceremony.
Raw.
And I'm glad I have all of that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have photos. They're hanging in the house.
Right.
But I watch the video more than anything.
Yeah.
And ironically, when I talk to brides and grooms and they've hired a DJ, like, The answer always is, well, we were thinking about a videographer, but it's just really expensive. You're right, it is. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
They're going to be with you all day long if they're good. There's a point in the night where unless you're going to have a big fancy exit, you can let them go. Same with a photographer. Like as the night goes on, but as the night goes on, there's a point where everybody starts not looking so great. They think they look great, but but yeah, it's just there's a point where they're not needed anymore. But it's great that you guys stay. That's I do a big exit.
Well, like you say, every story has a beginning, middle, and the end. You got to have the end.
Right.
The exit.
No, and I always do a big ending, but that's...
Oh, yeah, I know you do.
That's my thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, tell everyone about... Oh, and thank you for saying that. I'll Venmo you.
No, you don't know me to... No, it's look, of all the... Like, there's lots of great wedding advice that people don't give you. Like, don't waste a ton of money on cake.
Right, yeah.
3/4 of that cake's going to go in the garbage.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much cake I seen get thrown away at the end of the night. My wife and I, we did cupcakes.
Cute.
We went to Publix. Right. They were 50 cents a piece.
And they're good.
Exactly. You can go to H-E-B in Texas and just get
That's what I was going to say. In a previous podcast, I made a Publix reference, and I was like, oh, we're in Texas.
H-E-B, yeah.
This is the Texas wedding show.
No, that's a dumb thing to spend money on. And it's funny because somebody passed down to me like a cupcake tower.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't I send it to you?
Probably.
One of my other friends got married and they passed the cupcake tower down to them. And I said, look, just give this to the next person that's getting married. I don't ever want to see it again. Because it sat in my garage for a while. I was like, what am I ever going to do with this? Another thing, don't buy the cake knife and the cake spatula.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to use them again.
No.
Just use whatever they have there.
Yeah.
Get a little tiny cake from like your grocery store to cut. Don't pay more than like $10 for it. The cake, putting the cake in your fridge, in your freezer to wait for a year, don't do that either.
Yeah.
It's just going to take up room that you need for more important stuff.
Won't taste.
And it's going to be gross.
Probably won't taste very good.
Yeah, spend your money on your photographer and your videographer because it's what you're going to look at the most.
I mean, in my completely biased opinion, I agree with you on cut other areas in the budget to make room for video. Of course, you're going to get photo. We do photo too. But video, nothing lets you relive your day like your video.
No, and nothing lets you put it on, on the internet to brag to people that
it's true.
Look how cool my wedding was.
Yeah.
For all those people that you didn't invite.
Ooh, burn.
That your ex-girlfriend can scroll through and be like, oh, look at that. He did finally find somebody,
But, okay, disclaimer, at the risk of, offending all the bakers out there, that's just, for some people, the cake is very important. And maybe cut somewhere in the dinner time to get a prettier cake. Like, cakes are like a form of art. There's some really crazy ones out there, but I'm also kind of with you on the Publix. Or like I was saying in another one, people get like fake cakes, like foam, and like decorate those, and then go to Publix and get your sheet cake and just cut it in the back and bring that out.
And to be honest, there's probably your cake person or your baker that probably has a better idea or a better reason. But there's nothing wrong with saying like, look, man, we're on a budget. What can what can you do?
Yeah.
The truth is these vendors want your business. So just be honest with them. The easiest thing you can do with your vendors is say, hey, I have this much budget for a cake. I have this much budget for video. I have this much budget for DJ. Figure those numbers out before you start making the phone calls. And just be honest. If you're honest with them, they'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can give you. If you're like, look, this is what I got. But if you're really looking to get those wedding deals, hey, man, pick a day that ain't a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
If it ain't a Friday or Saturday night, man, I can't tell you how many weddings I've done for next to nothing on a Monday.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday, on a Sunday. Same with wedding venues. Like these venues, those Friday, Saturday nights, like that may be the only time that you can get married. But man, as we had our wedding on a Sunday at a very popular wedding destination in Orlando, we didn't get charged for any of the furniture because it was all the furniture from the 2 weddings the night before. We didn't get charged any extra by the caterer because they were able to keep all their stuff in the venue overnight. There's all these things that you can do. And then they're just happy because they're clearly off on a Sunday.
Right.
There's nothing else going on. So just look at other dates. Look at other time of the days.
Yeah.
If you want to get married at Walt Disney World and you want a cheap wedding, get married in the morning. Early morning.
Very
early
early.
morning. Early morning on a Wednesday, you'll get the cheapest wedding you can at Walt Disney World. But if you want a wedding after park hours at Magic Kingdom, where they got to close the park early, you're in the millions of dollars range.
Yeah.
Whereas you're in the $10,000 range.
Typically, when you're seeing those Disney weddings, like in Magic Kingdom, those are happening at like 4 a.m, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well after park hours.
Yeah. I always obviously think that's so cool to have your wedding at Magic Kingdom, but I always think about the fact that, okay, this bride like just probably hasn't even gone to sleep.
No.
Just started doing her makeup at midnight.
Correct.
And wow, that's great.
No, and they're dropping so much money. Like
beautiful.
Weddings are great, but my favorite part of the whole experience is after your day is going to be awesome, but the best adventure happens the next day, which is the marriage. And that's the best. That's the coolest part of this destination.
Yeah.
Is your story is culminating with hey, we're going to wake up the next morning and you're going to go to yourself, I can't believe it went by so fast.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to I had been in the industry for 2 decades when I got married, and it went by just as fast as everybody had told me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it did help me be a better DJ because I looked at everything differently. I was like, all right, cool. So it's a lot different being on this side of the table.
Yeah.
So just find good vendors, find good people to work with. Wedding planners, there's a lot of people that don't think they're necessary. I mean, that's that person that's going to make sure that everything happens when it's supposed to happen. You can use family and friends, but it's nice to have that unbiased person that isn't tied to anybody there.
Yeah. Don't use family and friends. Let them enjoy it.
Correct.
Let them enjoy it and leave it to the professionals. Yeah. But something you said earlier, about the coolest thing that happens the day after is we're married now. And it just all goes back to what we were saying before about telling a story, right? It's these Magic Kingdom opulent $1 million weddings are cool, yeah, but most people can't do that. And that's okay because it's about your story. It's about you guys as a couple. It's about getting married.
My favorite weddings have been in people's backyards under tents with, grandma made the cake that she used to always make, and I'm running, 100 feet of orange extension cables to plugs on the side of the house just to that's the stuff that means something.
Yeah, I know. Right? I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So
and it also, in my opinion, makes it more special and unique because when you have those backyard weddings, no one has ever gotten married there before. No. Typically,
the best advice is, just like everything you do in life, do your research. The great thing now is there's podcasts like this, there's YouTube videos, there's so much stuff you can do, you can do yourself. But that wedding planner or those professionals are going to be the ones to help you execute because you're going to be busy. Yeah. Not the groom so much. I didn't do a whole lot on my wedding day. I got up and went to Ale House.
Did you really?
Oh, and then
did you get a mountain melt?
No, my wife who was dealing with everything, like the florist absolutely messed up and didn't have the right flowers. So at the last minute I was driving around trying to find, boutonnieres for all the grooms because they messed up. So I remember that and just being like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah. But we made it work, man.
You did something.
I guess, but
You saved the day.
Meanwhile, behind my back, Ruben is calling Star Wars people to show up at my wedding that I didn't know about.
We gotta call him, give him a hard time. Just talk, I don't know, tell me about some of your favorite weddings, anything that sticks out.
I mean, my favorite wedding memories are always getting that chance to talk to the bride and groom after the finale dance that I do. I try to do a big final dance moment with the entire wedding party.
Oh, I love that.
And then
I've never seen that at another wedding, and I love that.
And then I get them to all do the group hugs with everybody, and then I tell everyone in the building, all right.
So wait, so you got to explain it. So you call everyone out on the dance floor for a last group dance of everyone that's still there.
Correct. So I get the bride and groom in the center of the circle, and I get everybody to make a big giant circle around them. And then we teach the circle basic choreography, like 2 steps right, 2 steps left, and it's usually to the I've had the time of my life, the Dirty Dancing song, which because I had the time of my life. It was a great day. And I just haven't found a song I like better yet. And we just do that. Perfect. And then at the climax of the song, I have everybody join hands and rush the center and do a big group hug. We do that 3 times through the chorus of the song. And it's just a really great time for the video team and the photographers to get a picture of like the bride and groom in the middle of this giant group of people. And then, when the song's almost done, I'll say, all right, now I need, we've done our last big hug. Now I need everybody to go to the table. I need you to get your stuff. I need you all to get out. I need you to go outside. There's going to be a wedding planner, a bridesmaid, a groomsman. Somebody out there is going to get you bubbles or rice or sparklers or whatever you're going to do for your grand exit. And then again, we're telling a story. That's the end of the story. This dance too is the end of, this is the last chapter of your story. So now you're going to talk to your DJ. All these DJs have different ways that they pre-plan with you. I'm weird. I don't have a 40-page booklet you fill out. I don't need to talk to you multiple times. I need your do not playlist. I'm at a point now in my career where I really only do weddings for people that I know, just because I did so many of them, and it is such an intimate experience that I just want to make sure that I know these people. Yeah. So just like you as a bride and groom are going to call and interview me, I'm going to interview you. And if I've talked to you in the phone conversation and I feel like we're similar and it's a match, then we're going to work together. And if we don't, I'm going to point you to the direction of somebody that's going to fit
and that's correctly
with your day.
That's a great wedding vendor in general.
Yeah, not everybody's perfect for every situation. So talk to them. Their film style might not be what fits your vibe. You know who you ask. Hey, do you have somebody else that you think could handle what we're looking for? They've got people. The same thing as a DJ. If you talk to me, my favorite thing to tell bride and grooms on the phone when they call me and ask for pricing, I said, hey, look, this is my pricing. It's cut and dry. It's this much per hour, regardless of any of the extras. I'm not a photo booth guy. I'm not a lighting guy. I'm going to come and provide the music. I'm going to have wireless microphones. I can handle your ceremony, your cocktail hour, and your reception. That's what I do. I don't do all the other stuff. The vendors that do multiple things, photography and video, that's a similar thing. But if they're like, we provide cakes and DJs and lights and photo booths, if they have a million things that they're providing, just be aware that, pay attention, ask why. Like, why are you doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
A lot of DJs are providing the lights and the video and the photo, they're providing all that stuff because they're either not charging enough for their service or they're trying to entice you to book their DJ because maybe they're not as great by, we'll give you a package deal by giving you all this stuff.
Distracting, deflecting you with the other flashies.
Correct. Like, this is all the other fun stuff that we have. So pay attention over here. We're going through the dance. So in all of those meetings and all those phone calls where I've interviewed you, I've gotten to know you. And at some point, we're going to have a conversation. How did you guys meet? How did you come to get married? Typically these are people that I already know. So I already know them. So I'm going to take that knowledge that I have based on the do not playlist that they've had and the playlist that they have, and I'm going to come up with a song that I think is going to fit best for this bride and groom. So you've had a first dance at your wedding, and now it's time for your last dance of your reception and the first dance of your married life. Because now once this is done, once you walk out those doors, your husband and wife, the celebration is over. Now the realness happens. This is the fun part. This was fun, but the real fun part, that's coming. And that's learning how to live together and learning how to be together and to build that life together. And that's the really cool thing about what we're doing here for this day is we're getting off to send you into the world to live your life together. So it's picking that right song. And then because everybody's out of the room, you get a moment to just be with your partner and just enjoy that last moment. And there's the reason I do the last dance is somebody did it for me. And I remember I was only paying attention to my wife. And what was really great is it was you and me and nobody. Everybody else was gone. And then it's done. And then the venue is very, very happy because the room is empty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the perfect way to end.
But it's that great ending because then it's done. Then as soon as the bride and groom are the last people to leave that room. Mm-hmm. And it's just that great story.
And if you're at a wedding and the DJ announces that the couple's doing a final dance and everyone go outside and get ready for the grand entrance, please go outside.
Yes,
please.
And that's the one where, again, I don't mind being rude. And that was when the maid of honor told me I should go F myself because I was like, hey, you need to go outside.
Right.
And she'd had a lot to drink.
Right.
And I was like, this moment's not for you. This moment's for them.
Yeah.
Again, it's not about you.
Right. There's a lot of people that think, oh, well, I'm special. I can stay and watch and creep. Like, I've seen it from mom and dads, from maids of honor, from bridesmaids, from some special friend. They think that they're exempt from the rule. And it's not that you're not special. It's not that they don't love you. This is for them. And
it's the same reason why even I walk away. And it's the same, like, I also tell the photographer and the videographer, like, look, halfway through the song, I need you guys to go too. Because you're going to get what you need. If you can't get what you need in a minute and a half out of a 4-minute song, you're in the wrong business too.
Right.
And you need to be outside to catch them walking out that door.
Yeah.
Because that's the shot. And what I've done for you as wedding vendors is set you up for success. Because now you're going to walk out that door and it's already set up.
Yeah.
You don't have now it's just a matter of, okay, cool, we got 2 lines. This side maybe go to the right a little more. This side go to the left a little more. It's trying to set everybody up to tell that great story. So.
Yeah, it's great advice.
Yeah. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Well, now people are going to be like, how do we get you to DJ our wedding? Well, I do travel sometimes. But,
sometimes, for special
I do
people.
like Rudy's Barbecue in Texas. It's not very hard to get me to go to Texas. So.
Everyone booked DJ Elliot for their wedding so my friend can come visit. And we can get Rudy's together.
So I can sleep on your couch?
Yeah.
So there you go. Now you don't even have to pay for a hotel.
Yeah.
I am bougie. I do have to fly first class. So. We'll spend money on dumb stuff.
Yes. Myself included, okay?
It's all good.
You should see my Amazon orders.
Oh, no, they're showing up to my house any minute now. It's the worst, like just being able to get whatever you want.
People spend money on dumb stuff, dude. As we sit. Oh. I could probably stare at this for hours. Oh my goodness.
What?
Princess Unicorn.
That's the real thing. That's screen used.
Wait, what?
That's a screen used princess. That's a real prop from the show.
My horn can pierce the sky.
And what's behind it is real too.
Are you kidding me?
That's a real Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way. I bought that
you
from
can't
Lindsay.
Even see it.
I know, because Lindsay likes Princess Unicorn better. But the box is like freaking, like it's a legit.
This is what?
Yeah.
Princess Unicorn. She's beautiful.
Now I know what to look for you in the future. Yeah, I have some weird stuff.
So now we're in the portion of the podcast where we just ask each other random questions.
All right.
It's fun. We pulled up some questions from the internet.
You should be able to come up with better questions than the internet.
I should?
Yeah.
This one just popped in my head. Do you have a favorite conspiracy theory?
No, because I'm not.
You don't believe in?
I have one that drives me crazy and one that makes me angry.
Oh, okay.
So when people try to talk about the moon landing being faked, like that one drives me so crazy. Mainly because, so my grandfather was best friends with Deke Slayton. Deke Slayton was the chief of astronauts. And it just, I mean, we spent a lot of money to go to the moon. And it just, and then the irony that like the technology in order to fake it didn't exist.
Right,
So
right.
just, you know, and there's so many of them now. The problem now is that once you start diving down a conspiracy theory, the algorithm in your computer is going to be like, all right, we know what to show you, and it's just like, ah.
Yes. And you're like, oh, it is real. Look at all this evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I can edit my own Wikipedia page anytime I feel like it and write, Elliot is 6'4" and 210 pounds. So there's one of those pop culture references that will make no sense when people watch this video 5 years from now.
I don't think people are going to watch this video 5 years from now.
Probably.
But
I don't know. Maybe.
okay.
So
hit me.
if you could use magic to do one mundane task in your life, what would it be?
Mundane?
Yeah.
Changing potatoes' diapers.
Just be like, poof.
Yeah,
done.
that's like either that or maybe dishes. But I have a handicapped dog, handy-capable dog. His back legs don't work and he has to wear a diaper, so I have to change his diaper. But
How often do you do that?
I try to do it like, I would say at least 3 times a day, at least.
All right.
Okay.
What's the worst fashion decision you've ever made?
Ooh.
And do you have a picture?
Ooh. I'm on fleek all the time. Do the kids say fleek these days? Is that still a...
You're asking, yeah, I'm definitely...
I'm on point. I'm drip. I got the drip.
Yeah, we should probably stop.
One time, this guy made me wear this dress that had dinosaurs all over it.
Oh, really? I will say, the funny that you talk about that, but I remember long before I went on...
I'm talking about him, by the way.
No, exactly. I went on it. A girl has never on a date sent me a more clearer message that nothing was going to happen than showing up wearing a jumper. If you want to tell a guy on a date that nothing's going to happen, wear like a one-piece romper or jumper.
Note to self, wearing a romper on my next first date.
Like legit.
I am going to wear it.
Like legit,
so.
nothing says ain't nothing happening more than something you have to completely take off when you go to the bathroom.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It just seems like a weird choice as a girl to even wear one.
I actually did wear that dinosaur dress. So I wore the dinosaur dress when we were DJing together for a show. Mm-hmm. And it was cute, okay? It was cute.
It was.
And I recently went on a date with this guy that was like, I have the picture on my profile.
You sent me a picture of you in the dress. You're like, look what I wore. And
yes.
I was like, awesome.
Okay. And so he was like, he saw a picture of me wearing it when we DJed together and was like, what's it going to take for me to get you to wear that dress on our first date? And I was like, I don't know, not much. Like,
like I've got it.
Yeah. And so we went to the Natural Museum of History or Museum of Science. And there's like dinosaurs there. I'm like, perfect.
Look, first of all, I'll give him applause because normally first date, you're like mini golf, bowling.
Yeah. So cool, right?
Yeah.
Fun. And I'll give him props too because he wore a Land Before Time t-shirt. But
that's like the bare minimum, like a t-shirt.
Yeah. But when we the first thing he said to me when we first saw each other in person, he laughed and he's like, you're gonna make me look like a pedophile. And I was like, what?
Okay.
Why did he say that?
I don't know.
So that was not a good start to the date.
No, that's a clearly like
he's my age.
Like this was it. Like, you're gonna make me look like a pedophile, and you look and you go, walk back to the car.
I really wanted to.
Be like, all right, high five her.
But I was just like, you know what? I say really stupid things sometimes, so we're gonna give it a second.
Maybe
chance.
He was just so shocked at how beautiful you were.
Oh, stop.
That he was just like, I don't know what to say.
I'm like, dude, you wanted me to wear this dress. I'm so confused right now.
Which means he wanted to be a pedophile.
Ew, what?
I don't know if that's what it made him feel like. Then I don't know. He needs therapy.
Yeah, don't we all?
I mean, that's a fact. Most people, when their car breaks down, they don't try to fix it themselves. They take it to a mechanic. Always go to a professional.
Great advice.
Yep.
What? Since on theme, we're wearing our Disney stuff.
Correct.
Here at Disney World, what Disney character would you be and why? Or do you relate to the most? Because that's kind of different. Who would you be and who would you relate to?
I think I feel maybe I relate more to, I like to think that, I mean, you worked with me and, I like to mentor and talk to people and look out for people and give them advice. So I think maybe like a Jiminy Cricket or something like that.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I think I'd like that. And plus, I've got his haircut, so.
You need the antenna though.
No, I think maybe that one.
I totally see that. Yeah.
What about you?
I like that.
Anna.
It's Anna. And it's Queen Anna. Thank you very much. No, honestly, it used to be Belle, but it's Anna, and specifically Frozen 2 Anna.
Okay.
I don't know. She's quirky and awkward, but also fun and very strong and strong-willed, and goes through a really dark time and gets herself out of it, and she doesn't need a man to save her. Kristoff shows up and says, I'm here. How can I help? Not, I'm here to save the day.
Correct.
And she does it. She saves the day.
All right. I got one for you.
Okay.
What was the first concert that you went to?
It was probably a Christian concert. The first concert that I remember is Hillary Duff.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yesterday.
And then this is another question that's hard to ask because formats have changed. So I'll ask it in the broad term, and then you can break it down. What was the first either cassette, CD, record, or MP3 that you bought?
Cassette. Well, I didn't buy it, but that I owned that I remember is Animaniacs.
That have history of the world, the like United States, Panama, Mexico,
Yes.
Nations of the World. That's what it's called.
CD. The first CD I bought, in my memory, was Jump 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were a Christian household.
No, I remember I bought 3 CDs, and I remember I went to Hastings.
Yeah.
That was a Texas chain.
Yeah.
I went to Hastings. I bought 3 CDs. I bought Aerosmith Big Ones, Garth Brooks The Hits,
Nice.
and Ace of Base The Sign.
Wow. Wow.
And then the first CD I ever stood in line for, I waited in line with my college program roommates to buy Big Willie Style, the Will Smith CD, and that was at the Virgin Megastore at Downtown Disney.
Wow.
Yep.
But I think that your CD buying experience and mine are very different because, like, I feel like CDs were coming out at an age where, like, you earned your own money versus me, like, when I'm having these memories, I'm like, Mom, buy me this CD.
Yeah.
I'm like 6 years old.
Do you remember the first one you bought with your own money?
I want to say, like, Carrie Underwood, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dug my key
into the side of his pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive.
Which
yes.
That's called destruction of property. And there's some jail time involved in that.
Maybe she needs a little therapy too. I don't know. Maybe he deserved it. Maybe just like if you really want to do something, like put like a hamburger on their car or something, just like.
Maybe just deflate the tires. Don't like.
Yeah, I've definitely never done that.
Yeah.
Not the tires thing, really, though.
Putting a hamburger in somebody's car.
I was really mad. They deserved it too.
And where did you put it?
I really hope they don't ever watch this. On their back window.
Just a hamburger.
I opened it up and I smeared it around and I made a shape. I won't say what shape, but I made a shape.
Was it a heart?
No.
And why did we do this?
There were lots of reasons. I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't remember the specific reason. But
so you've been going.
It was deserved, and someone was with me, and they were like, "Yeah." They agreed that it was deserved.
So I'll ask another question. So you've been going on a lot of first dates lately.
Okay.
What's the best advice you can give to somebody about taking somebody out on a first date?
Okay. Well, first I want to give advice to, I guess, the person that has been asked out on the date that's going. So like me in this situation, someone's asked me out. I have slowly started to establish ground rules, soft boundaries. One is if you meet on an app, do not give them your phone number like until like the second or third date. Do not. That's just a boundary. I mean, I could explain it, but do you want me to explain it?
I mean, it
I'll,
makes
I'll
sense.
explain it because it's kind of a funny story. I went on a date, and at the end of the date, I told him something about myself that was personal. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, what do you mean you know? He's like, oh, well, because of my job, I was able to run your phone number and see all of your public records and like knew like previous like old
Yeah.
roommates. And he knew,
I know your history, but that's because we know each other.
yeah, that's creepy.
Oh, and so if you try to kidnap her, I can tell
Yeah.
you exactly where she is.
No, now they're gonna know and try to get rid of my phone.
No.
Two, I have a lot, or I have a lot of guilt over like saying no and like turning people down. So when they ask for if I want to go on the second date, a lot of times they ask in person that night. I have a rule, even if it was a grid date, that I need 24 hours. Give me 24 hours to just think on it. I just need some time to process. And if I do, I'll reach out to you.
All right. Those are both good ones.
Yeah, thanks.
No, it's really great. The great thing is the setting the boundaries, because I try to give advice to men. I'm like, look, if you like somebody, tell them you like them. Hey, I like you. I think we should go on a date, and then ask them on a date, like a proper date. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to take you somewhere, and then do all the stuff that your parents told you that they used to do. The hey, let's just hang out, or let's chill, or let's do. No, man, I remember when I was younger, there was a girl who I was very much in love with. And there was a moment where she told me, and at the time I thought it was the harshest thing anybody could ever do. She said, hey, I can't picture myself marrying you. We shouldn't see each other anymore. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, how heartless is this person and how horrible is this? But now in retrospect, as an older person that spent way too long in too many relationships that were wrong, that was the nicest thing anybody
Right.
could have ever done.
Yeah.
And we're friends now at this point, and I'm like, yo, that was the best thing. Like, I was so mad at you for so long, but I respect you so much for, having the foresight to be like, hey, this isn't going that direction. What's the point?
Let's
Like,
not waste each other's time.
and especially, because, I got married older. So it was very much with my wife. There was a point where, she wasn't really sure where our relationship was going and what was happening. And that was my fault, because I had, I'd come out of a previous marriage before, and I was never going to get married again. And I told her about that, but I was also dating a bunch of different people, and I knew I wanted to be with her, but I was trying to break everybody else off in the nicest way that I possibly could, which was actually the worst thing I could have done.
Yeah.
I should have just been honest. And because of that, she had gotten tired of what I was putting her through. And so I remember we were supposed to go on this trip to Japan, and she told me, hey, before we go on this trip, I want you to know that we're not going to go as a couple. I want to go just as friends. And immediately I said to her, I was like, well, I don't need any more friends. I'm good. And that she was so upset by that, but it was the truth. It was like, I don't need a bunch of friends. I got that. Like,
Yeah.
we're either going to be together or we're not. And on that trip to Japan, which best advice to anybody, if you're in a relationship and you're not sure what to do, go somewhere where nobody speaks English, because you only have one person to talk to.
Yeah.
And I mean, we learned so much about each other on that trip and came back, and we've been together ever since. So, but I just, just be honest, be upfront. Like, there shouldn't be anything wrong with you saying in a date at a certain point, being like, hey, this isn't going how I thought it would be. Here's my share of what we bought. I'm going to leave. Like, it shouldn't be. I mean, look, if you can't tell the person across from you isn't having a good time, then you've got some other problems that
Right.
you need to worry about.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a point where I remember going on another date when I was dating, and I remember talking to a girl, and she was talking about this guy that she was kind of seeing who was deployed overseas, and I legit stood up and said, hey, have a good night. And she was like, what? I was like, you're dating a guy who's defending our country. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have told me that before I even got in this restaurant, I wouldn't be sitting here. Like,
Wow.
that's just disrespectful. So,
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen her on Facebook. She's still single.
oh man. I have to keep reminding myself that, even though it might seem harsh to like want to end it, one, let's not waste both of our times.
No.
And two, if if the situation was reversed, if they weren't having a good time with me and they were just doing it out of pity, like I wouldn't want them to do that.
Correct. No.
I would want to know.
No.
You know?
And look, that it's the cool thing with getting older. You start to realize that, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm clearly, there's something messed up about me. So if I can find somebody that can handle that,
Yeah.
That's the other thing that everybody finds as they get older too. Like these people getting married, like, this is your person. You're aware. Like if there's one little thing about this person that annoys you, you should probably bail out because it's not going to change. Especially as you get older, it's just built into your DNA.
You learn to accept it and
Correct.
love them anyways,
No.
because all the other qualities are.
No, 100%.
Amazing.
Like my wife makes this noise that I have no idea how she makes it, and I hate it. But I love everything else about her. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if this is the one little thing, I just have to, every time she does it, I just go, oh.
And then you laugh about it.
And then I go, oh, I wish I knew what she was doing and a way to stop it, but I cannot. Because I'm sure I do things that
Lindsay, keep doing it.
there's probably a much longer list of things that I do that's annoying to her. But
Nobody's perfect.
no.
Nobody's nerfect.
Again, back to the office.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
That got deep real quick.
Hey, man,
That's how it be.
know.
That's how we do
Who knows what's going to actually end up out there or not?
all of it.
The 2-hour-long podcast.
Yeah. The best one. That's why I said it's a special edition. So,
Hey, look, you're one of my favorite people. It was sad that you left Orlando because we didn't get to spend as much time together as we wanted to, but you're clearly doing something that you are amazing at.
Thank you.
And again, I started watching what you were doing, and I was like, oh, hey, this is really cool. And I remember messaging you like, I want to be on your show. And I mean, I was willing to buy a plane ticket and fly out there. But,
That's amazing.
And I'll probably still do that too, because
Yeah.
this is fun. But I love what you guys do, like the way that you connect with your audience and the way that they get to, see both of y'all as people. Like that's, you got to hire people that would be your friends to do this for you, man. Like the way that you guys pick up nuance with video and just you can tell that these couples and these people really care about each other. Like that's why you guys are awesome. So I just appreciate that I get to be a little part of your story. So
Thanks, Elliot. And I remember when you texted, like my psychic powers were tingling because the night before I was gonna go into the office and tell Jordan, we should have Elliot on the podcast, like even if we could do like Skype. So, and you know what? I would not be the person I am today. I would not have had the experiences that I have, the memories, the confidence to speak on a mic, to get up and DJ in front of people. If it wasn't for you, so.
well, we're both awesome.
Play the sentimental music. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
And be sure to follow DJ Elliot on
At the DJ Elliot,
at
correct?
the DJ Elliot.
On all of the things.
Yes. Also, Elite Beats is.
Elite Beats Orlando
Yeah.
is our DJ company.
Yeah.
And Show Before the Show is our convention company.
Yeah. So be sure to look that up and follow Ladybird Studios on TikTok. I am super active on the TikTok now. I know I wasn't before, but follow us on
Alright.
TikTok, YouTube, of course, Instagram. Email info@Ladybird Studios if you want to book us for a photo or video for your next wedding. And see you next time. Bye.
See you real soon.
Yeah.